They got some bikes, they're gonna ride through all the countryside, and they'll do it side by side. Kenneth and Allie, they're gonna rally through all the peaks and valleys. Shout out to Rand McNally, with the West Coast ready to greet them in search of the unending weekend. Well, it's a trans-American ride.
All right. Out here, about 9:30 in the morning, day 2, June 7th, Sunday. Still out here on the Capitol Trail, headed toward Richmond today, at least. Had a good night last night. Cool, cozy little spot. It did rain really hard, but aside from a few things being really wet by that, like gloves, hat, helmet, bikes, we stayed cozy and dry in the tent, which was nice. Good test of the waterproofness of the tent, and we're pressing on. No real vital statistics to report, however, for the sake of it. It's 9:28. Been on the bike for 9.5 minutes. On almost 2 miles. 74 degrees. 89% battery. I think I forgot to turn it off last night, because I remember it was kind of hard getting to our campsite. Had to haul our heavy bikes through some woods, some real bike packing schilt. And at one point I do remember I turned my Garmin on by accident, just by the way I was holding my handlebars. But anyway, woke up around 7 this morning, had a nice little easy morning, pooped in the woods for the first time in a long time. Probably haven't pooped in the woods since the Long Trail back in October, so like 8 months ago. Definitely is a skill that I could use some practice with. But anyway, seems like it's going to be a good day. No rain in the forecast. We've got some really nice Virginia farmlands in front of us and to the side of us. Good opportunity to dry all this stuff out throughout the day, hopefully. Got the tent at arm's length. Got the tarp that we use for a ground cloth. All my stuff is drying. I love it. And we're kind of hoping that we see, or at least I'm kind of hoping that we see some protests today. It'd be nice to get through Richmond, have something to eat, and head out. We don't really have a firm plan of what we might do today, but we're looking at least a 50-mile day probably, if not more, if we feel good. We did 50 miles yesterday. We started at 1, so starting well before that today. I think we're going to go farther if we find recommendations in doing so. A little app, the American Cycling Association app. It's extremely useful. Really wish I had found that prior to us leaving, because I would have just gone ahead and made all the routes to base off of it. But, live and you learn, I suppose. Anyone who might be listening who's considering a similar ride, if you really want to do it and not go into it completely blindly, highly recommend that app. Very useful for lodging, grocery stores, bike shops, pretty much everything you could hope for. It's the gut hooks of the biking world. And yeah, it's feeling good. I'm excited to get really into a rhythm of this. And I'm glad Allie's here to share it with me, the highs and the lows. We're headed toward the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'd imagine we'll probably be there certainly by the end of this coming week, which it's currently Sunday. So that'll be cool. I don't really think we're going to be on it for very long. the crossover of the route with the Blue Ridge Parkway when I've looked at it on Google Maps, having imported the GPX files of both routes. The overlap looks really small, and if you look at the ACA app, there's only like 2 really big climbs. Oh, Turtle Boy! You see that? Should we move him? Yeah. We got a turtle boy in the road. Allie loves turtles, so it'd be a shame if this boy was hurt. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. Go away from the road. Oop. I'm sure this turtle boy is gonna go straight back into this path, so I'm not sure how much help I just did it, but at least for now we can feel good about it. Alright, well, that's about all I have to report. We're probably just gonna keep our heads down and chug all the way to Richmond, hoping for some excitement, some food, maybe a place to lay our tent out, maybe a vape. Who knows? Shouldn't do that, but hey, this is vacation. Going up a pretty steep little hill. Hi. All right. The turtle boy is safe for now. I think he's gonna go straight back where he came from.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was headed toward the road, but did what we could. I think it was an alligator snapping turtle.
Really? Did it have a long tail?
Yeah,
And like pointed,
kind of. I couldn't really tell from the mouth. Could have been. Yeah, I kind of remember, not to go in and out of tangents, but I kind of remember at the end of the Blue Ridge Parkway. Actually, though, that wasn't even the end. When we were looking at the ACA app, it looks like we really just do a small portion of the Blue Ridge Parkway right outside of Waynesboro. So, well, I guess that is the end of the Blue Ridge Parkway. I feel like I kind of remember the hills there, the mountains that you climb, but I mean, they were all so, in a way, similar. I probably actually don't, but we'll find out. And hey, I'll tell you about it. Okay, bye for now. If I can figure this out. All right, this is Kenneth and Allie coming to you from the Anderson Pavilion in Ashland. A little bit of vital statistics. We've been on the bike for 6.5 hours today. We've gone 52 miles. We've climbed only 1,100 feet. It's 83 degrees. Shit, my battery's kind of low on this thing. What else? Let's see. Can't scan. I think that's all the important data. We're about 3.5 miles from where we're hoping to camp, which is at some river bridge over a river, the South Anna River. And we've got beers, so I'm happy. We just got some ice cream, so Allie's happy. And I got her a beer, but it's probably going to be my beer, so I'm doubly happy. Yeah. Taking another break. We've had quite a few breaks today. It's a hot day. Not saying that in a bad way. But, yeah. Started off the day at that same little campsite that we left off at last night, obviously. There was some pretty big rain, I already mentioned all that. But since then, we took a route that kind of was an optional route off of the actual course, which again, I think Allie, I don't know if you're still trying to like square the fact that this route isn't like an official route, and that there are options. I don't know how many more options there will be like that.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was nice to go through a city. I think Richmond's the capital.
That would make sense. Yeah. We really wanted to go through Richmond because that's where the statue of Robert E. Lee is located that has been all in the media recently, graffitied and sort of a rallying point for protesting, I guess, because it's sort of a roundabout that all the major roads kind of feed into, sort of. But yeah, it was kind of weird going through Richmond. All the windows on most of the roads that we were on were boarded up. Not necessarily from damage, but I guess preventatively. It seems
But
like...
we couldn't have known.
Yeah.
It could have all been smashed. We couldn't see.
Yeah, we stopped at a 7-Eleven, and if that was any indication, people definitely took precautionary measures, because those windows weren't smashed yet. But it was weird, because, you see these businesses, and, I don't know if we went through, a black area or what, but it does just kind of seem like people were just randomly breaking stuff and spray painting on everything.
And that guy in the parking lot at the 7-Eleven, he had some kind of trolley full of boxes, and he kept saying he had over $2,000 worth of merchandise, or I don't even know, but we figured he probably looted it during the riots.
Yeah,
He's
it was
trying to sell it.
Some random weird stuff. And he was a good businessman. I think he's definitely going to make a sale. I mean, I couldn't believe there was a guy who came in and he was talking to the guy who was selling the locks, was talking to this other guy, and he was actually interested, which I just can't even imagine. I heard him say that he's a sucker for a good deal, but I mean, what would you want? I don't know what the rest of the boxes were, but I know that a few of them were just quick skill, lock sets for doors and stuff, which is kind of a weird thing to want. That's
Unless you live in the area and it's continually being looted.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Selling locks that he looted from the store.
Yeah, that was weird. And then we also accidentally drank a homeless man's water.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, that was weird. When we were going towards the statue, there was this little station. It looked like a protest supply stop. If you were protesting and you were thirsty, they had
Because
oranges.
We know those are a thing.
Yeah. Oh, also, I mean, I'd imagine that's where he got all that stuff from,
Yeah.
because it was all the stuff that everyone's giving out: crackers, oranges, Powerades. It definitely fit the bill, and he was kind of mad at us, and I guess that's kind of understandable. But at the same time, we're just well, dude, there was no indication of what it was.
And we offered to give him some of our food or whatever, but he said he hated granola bars.
Yeah.
He was mad.
Well, someone's not too bad off when they're being choosy about what they're being offered. But yeah, Richmond was a bit of a trip, and then getting out of Richmond was it was just hot road after hot road. It was very exposed and kind of highway bound the whole time. And since we took that optional route into Richmond, the bike computers didn't tell us how to get out of there, so I had to keep looking at my phone, which is always a little unnerving for roads that I'm not familiar with, to have to constantly be looking down and not looking at the road or the traffic or the potholes or anything else going on around me. But we've had a couple of good breaks.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if I said we're 3.5 miles away now, and hopefully we're going to be able to call it a day at this river. We have no idea really what kind of condition it's going to be in, if it'll be something that we could definitely camp at, or I think there's not going to be much middle ground. It's either going to be totally doable or totally not doable.
Yeah.
But
we're going into what looks like rural areas on Google Maps, so we can find a spot in any forest probably.
I hope so.
We just filled up on water.
Your nose looks a little sunburnt.
Yeah, I'm a little sunburned.
It's a hot day.
Look at my tan all
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good stop at a Subway. That was nice to get some real food.
Talked to a guy that did the Trans Am in
2008. Yeah, that's when I graduated from high school.
I was 7.
Roasted. But yeah, all is well. I still don't really feel like we have routine yet, which I mean, that's totally understandable. The second day in.
Yeah, we took an hour and a half to pack up this morning.
Yeah, and then a nice fat break at the Subway.
Yeah.
And then, it's been a day of breaks, but honestly,
been hot too. And,
it has been hot.
And we don't want to push it too hard. For me, I feel tired and satisfied with the day, and we did 50 miles. Well, we'll be 54 at the end of the day.
Yeah, which is what we were shooting for.
Yeah, at least to start out. We're still building up our endurance and strength. We didn't start doing 20-plus mile days on the AT until the Smokies.
I feel like 100-mile day on a bike is like a 30-mile day hiking. So a 50-mile day,
undertaking.
yeah, I feel like a 50-mile day is a 15-mile day on a hike, which is a respectable number, especially in the whites.
You feel satisfied at the end. There's potential to go further, but
Yeah.
we're still breaking ourselves into this lifestyle again, I think.
And it's also hard to go farther when we're out here doing this because we don't know if we go for an 80-mile day, that could just put us in the smack dab middle of nowhere, where there's nowhere to camp, there's nowhere to get water, there's nowhere to get anything that we might need in order to actually camp, which maybe is just something we'll have to deal with at some point. I can't imagine we'll have good luck every single day.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe we will. I don't know. It really puts things like people who did like the Oregon Trail and like early settlers, all that kind of stuff into perspective. Because even just now being in Ashland, like we were just about to leave and head on, and I was like just kind of hoping that there would be a gas station in front of us as we exited, but there definitely wasn't. And so it's just like, well, we should probably go back and get supplies before we go out. But I mean, especially those settlers, like you'd have no idea what was in front of you.
Yeah.
And so passing up a sure thing would be such a foolish thing to do. Plus, like, you'd have to probably, I don't even know how they ate small game, probably canned stuff.
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Because that probably takes, on a horse, at least as long as it's going to take us on a bike, 4 months to get to the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds terrible. I mean, it'd be an adventure, but back then that's like a life or death decision. Whereas we're just out here having fun. Yeah.
I feel like we were approached by a lady at the gas station, the 7-Eleven in Richmond, and I feel like she thought we were homeless people because she asked if we were okay.
I thought she just thought we were protesters.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I feel like she intentionally told us where to get food and water if we needed it.
Yeah.
But maybe it was for the protesters, but...
My impression was that she was more close to homelessness than we are.
Yeah.
She looked a little rough, I thought. I thought she was, like the guy she was with, I don't know, I just feel like she's someone who gets around with people, doesn't necessarily have like a stable... You know, I'm not a very judgmental person, but this lady had a lot of problems.
But hey, there's a lot of people out there protesting
Yeah.
for a similar cause.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see it.
Yeah, she didn't really strike me as the demographic, but I don't know. She said that they protest like from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. or something like that.
Just walking the streets.
Yeah, which on a day like this, which makes sense, we didn't see very many outside of the actual statue because it's like, that would be, you'd have to be careful doing that. Especially a lot of the people who were protesting didn't look particularly healthy to be out in the sun, like... They look like people who are used to having their food and water needs met pretty quickly.
That's the majority of America.
I know. But it's just like standing outside in like 90-degree weather for that many hours. Heat stroke and like dehydration has got to be a pretty common thing. But yeah, it's going well. It's a weird adventure so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so different than anything I've ever done.
Yeah, we keep comparing it to the AT because it's our common thread, but it's such a different journey already. Something we're a little sad about is the lack of community, and like we've talked to a few people, like I said, who've either done it or asked us where we're going, what we're doing, but obviously no one else is doing it.
Yeah, there's no shelters
right
out
now.
here
Yeah,
with people doing the same thing.
right. So
It's a choose your own adventure kind of thing.
yeah,
Where you stop, how far you go. And maybe if COVID wasn't a thing, we would potentially run into people. But there's also like not even a particular day that's common for starting.
right, yeah.
And I don't even know, it would have been beneficial and smart to look to see if there was like, at least for me, an audiobook on like, so you want to bike across America or something like that. But even that, if it's
You
not...
can still listen to it.
That's true, it could be
Get
helpful.
Some tips on the go.
Yeah, there's just, for me, a fine line with this kind of a thing where it's like, I can only take in so much information, and I won't even have a context for it. I'd have to just listen to sections and sections over and over again. Just so I'm like, okay, well, up here there's this thing, or there's that thing. But, I mean, this is a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
I feel like if we tried to stay here, it would be a Hanover situation.
I agree.
Some
It's literally
lame-
a soccer field.
Yeah, it's a huge field, though. Seems like we could probably stealth camp somewhere, but probably wouldn't be too keen on.
I think the river will work out.
Yeah, we had a good compromise moment last night. I don't think I mentioned. I don't. Maybe I did.
think you did.
Yeah, and so I think maybe compromise again for that. I'd rather drink beer by a river than in the scorching sun in some kind of weird suburb kind of
Yep.
place. But yeah, 5:30.
Yeah. We should go.
We should go. Yeah, we still got stuff to do.
Yep.
Got a few hours of daylight ahead of us and some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
3.5 miles. Though. I mean, from that overpass that we stopped at to here, that was
That was
probably
7?
was it 7 miles? It went by
Maybe.
really quickly.
Mhm.
Like, that is an
Yeah.
amazing thing of just how fast these miles
Yeah,
roll by.
I'm very appreciative. I'm already scrolling out on the map of the USA, and I'm like, we're almost like close to halfway through Virginia. This
Yeah.
is gonna fly by. That when we're only on day 2.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. 10 states to do. And what was, they said, yeah, so Virginia, there was more cumulative elevation gain than any other part of the route. So that's kind of good.
Yeah.
We'll be done with that. And I really don't think... I think Colorado, when we go up to the highest point, is going to be cooler. It's going to be worth it. Like, it won't matter if it's really
Yeah.
hard or really long.
Well, when we did some, I guess, training
Mhm.
mountains in North Georgia, we did like 7-mile climbs.
Yeah.
I think the longest was 7. And it's hard, but you get into a rhythm. That's what you keep telling me.
Yeah,
And
you just sit
at
there.
the end, then you feel great. You're at the top, and then you literally just go down the other side.
Hmm.
And we'll have a few of those, but
Yeah.
overall, it's pretty easy so far.
Yeah, I remember when I got into Front Royal off the Blue Ridge Parkway, I was talking to you on the phone, and then some guy pulled up next to me,
Mhm.
and I remember you were still on the phone, and I don't know
Yeah,
how
he
much
was like
of the-
talking to you.
Yeah, he was telling me that he was like impressed with how fast I was going, and I was like, I did not feel like I was going fast. I might look determined, and I definitely don't push my bike up the mountain,
Yeah.
but I couldn't have been going faster than 7 or 8 miles an hour, especially when he saw me too. It was like pitch black, and it was actually him that gave me the idea of sleeping on the overlooks, because I think I saw his van as I was going towards Front Royal in one of the pull-offs, and I was like, oh, I didn't see it at all, and then it just emerged, and I was like, that's a cool spot to sleep. But yeah.
I'm excited to be on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah,
For
me too.
However long we are, we think it'll be pretty short.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very short. I think we do one big climb, then we go down a little bit, and then another climb, and then we have a huge downhill.
Cool.
And then I think we get off the park, which kind of makes sense because it
yeah.
goes
North and
north-south.
south.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got like a lot of water to carry. Thankfully, we had such terrible water this morning at that
Yeah.
at that boat launch place. Tasted terrible. It tasted like Chep's mouth smells.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, thankfully, water has been available. I wouldn't say plentiful, but
Yeah.
we've had it when we needed it.
Mhm.
So that's been good. And we just got 2 more liters to carry, so that's smart.
Yep.
I don't think that this third water bottle cage on my bike is going to come in handy at all.
Mm.
So
You
that's,
could ditch it somewhere.
yeah. We'll see. Yeah, it would be nice to, well, it doesn't ever bother me. I might just keep it. Whatever, just rambling now.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I feel like Danny from Let's Trek Together. I feel like I'm monopolizing the conversation. It's been 15 minutes.
What if he listens to that?
Oh, he mentioned it himself. He was like, he said that people were saying in the comments that people hadn't heard from Molly and that they wanted to hear from her. And then I think he took that note to heart. So yeah, if you're listening, Danny, you know what I'm talking about. You know it's true. And I'm doing the same thing. So you and I are brothers at arms, brothers at mouths. All right. Bye for now.
I'm fine. So.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
good.
fine. Yeah,
So
you're
bye.
always fine. All right, bye.
Bye.